Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our international webinar with the theme Diverse Mind, One Mission, Equipping Future Teacher for Inclusive Excellence. I am Aprilia Erin Hairunisa. I am truly honored to be your Master of Ceremony for today's event. Before we begin, we would like to extend our deepest appreciation to the honorable official and distinguished guests from both Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang and the University of St. Anthony, all faculty members and students who have taken the time to be here with us today. This webinar reflects our shared commitment to inclusive and transformative education. As future educator, understanding diversity, whether cultural or intellectual, is essential in building classroom where every learner feels supported and empowered. To begin our event, let's pay respect to our institution and nation. First, the Muhammadiyah anthem, followed by the national anthem of Indonesia. Next, we present the anthem of our esteemed partner university, University of Saint Anthony, followed by the national anthem of the Philippines.
All the USANT voices sing in accents loud and clear. All the USANT echoes ring for the school we love so dear. Here we march in search of a song, perseverance and all is here to start and here to stay long. At the end of winding rain, we are here, yes, with the light, and we shall serve where we stand. We are proud of our USANT leading school of Magelang. Dear USANT, oh, dear USANT, we sing in praise of thee. For we know your future's bright. It's the school for you and me. For we know that you'll never die, and you live in everyone, and the world will cheer Magelang. Let us join and make a start. We are here, yes, with the light, and we shall serve where we stand. We are proud of our USANT leading school of Magelang.
Thank you for your respect and participation. Now let's hear the opening remarks from the leader of our collaborating faculties. First, we invite the Dean from College of Anthony to deliver the opening remarks. For Mr. Rafael Anate, PhD, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Aprilia. Good morning to everyone. Our greetings to the officials of Unimma, Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang, our esteemed partner from Indonesia. Also to the leaders of the Faculty of Teacher Training at Unimma, especially with Sir Agristo, the of International Affairs. So, and to all our participants this morning, students from Unimma and students from USANT, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. So, at the outset, I am really happy that we were able to realize this uh, our partner, especially for recent students. Unimma has been our partner for about 2 years already. They've started with the liberal arts department, and last time we were able to visit the university in person, and so we were able to discuss as well the other partnership activities. And so we have this international webinar today as part of um, activities that have been conceptualized after their visit at the university. So this morning, we have two topics to be discussed, and we also have invited two speakers from each of the university who will be sharing with us very relevant information on multiple intelligence as well as on students who are neurodiverse. So I am hoping that all the participants this morning, especially with our students, our faculty members, will be really learning from this webinar. Okay, as um, the theme tells us, it's all for inclusive education. After the topics, may we embody as well as may we understand the importance of inclusive education, especially for everyone who are already teachers as well as for those who are still aspiring to be teachers. Though we know that Indonesia and um, the Philippines have at least a different way of training teachers, but the bottom line is that we all care for our students. Okay, we all wanted our students to gain excellence, and so we also have in mind this so-called inclusive excellence. That's why you have diverse minds, one mission, equipping future teachers for inclusive excellence. And so, with the topics at hand, may we all learn as well as may we be better teachers ourselves. So once again, thank you so much. Our gratitude to Unima for again initiating this activity as well as helping us out to realize this joint webinar today. May we again see you soon at the university in person, and hoping that us as well can visit your university in the future. So once again, thank you so much and good morning to everyone.
Thank you for the opening remarks. Now we invite the Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education Sciences, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Magelang, for Mr. Ari Suryawan, MPD. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, good speaker, faculty member, and dear student. Warm greeting to you all. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to this joint webinar between Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang, Indonesia, and the University of Saint Anthony, Philippines. Today, we gather across countries to explore and strengthen our understanding of inclusive education and differentiation instruction. The theme is webinar reflect not only reality of our classroom today, but also our responsibility as educators. In the 21st century, education must embrace diversity, equality, and responsiveness. Inclusive education and differentiation are not longer optional. They are essential. They are very essential. They ensure that every student, regardless of their background, ability, success. And as a future elementary school teacher, you will be at the forefront of the making the vision reality. Today, discussion will explore from the application of multiple intelligence theory to best practice in inclusive teaching from two great speakers, Dr. Maria Jolit Angelina from USANT and Dr. Dhuta Sukmarani from Unimma. Their insight will surely enrich our perspective. Let me express my appreciation to the organization committee from both institution for making this event possible, and to all participants for joining us. May this webinar be meaningful conversation and inspire practical action in your future classroom. Thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Botian for those inspiring words. Now we begin the main part of our event. First, let me introduce the moderators from USANT, Miss Mayumi Marmol, MAET. I'd like to welcome our moderator to introduce our first distinguished speaker from USANT. Well, Miss Mayumi, the floor is yours.
Good morning, and thank you so much. I hope that I am audible. It is my honor to introduce the first speaker for today's webinar. She is a professional and passionate advocate for mental health and education, and is also attaining a Doctor of Philosophy degree, and is also a Human Resource Associate. Has completed her Bachelor of Psychology and Master of Arts in Education with a focus in guidance and counseling from University of Nueva Cáceres. Also a certified educational psychologist, a human resource associate, and a licensed professional teacher. With extensive experience in both academic and international arenas, she has served an associate professor, human resource coordinator, and guidance counselor. Also authored an internationally recognized research paper on mental health impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic of the Filipino adolescents in the UAE and in the Philippines, which was published in the International Journal of Open Access, Interdisciplinary and New Educational Discoveries. She is also commitment to education and mental health advocacy, has earned her numerous awards, including being named as Asia's most outstanding educational psychologist and mental health advocate in the 5th Asia Pacific Luminaire Awards. She was also recognized as top 10 international speaker by the World Canada and honored as an outstanding alumna by the University of Nueva Cáceres. Her diverse roles extend to being the educational psychologist at DLMR Diagnostic and Psychometric Center and the Asian Psychological Services and Assessment Incorporated. In addition to her work as an SBA manager and part-time educator, specializing in special educational needs and values education, her contributions to various international forums and her leadership roles in mental health field make her an invaluable resource for the communities she serves. Please join me, everyone, in a virtual welcome of Dr. Jolit Malaya-Alarte, a true advocate for the youth, mental health, and educational progress.
So, am I audible? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, let me just share my presentation. So, I was given a chance to talk about the magic of neurodiverse students. So, I guess you've heard this before. So, I work in an inclusive institution, not just here in the Philippines, but of course in United Arab Emirates. So, engaging with these diverse students can truly help our, as teachers, to be able to diversely understand them. So I'm also a certified specialist in educational psychology. Again, welcome to all faculty, students of University of St. Anthony and Unimma. So let me just give you the picture of a neurodiverse student. So with inclusion is one of the advocacy that I use to share with different institutions and students, of course, teachers. It's very important for us to understand how the brain works for them. So what is neurodiversity? So neurodiversity refers to the different ways in which the brain functions and process information. So we are all unique in different way on understanding teaching process or information. But with SEND student or special needs student with their additional needs, this includes conditions such as autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and others. So neurodiverse children may have different and amazing ways of thinking, and you may be more amazed when you teach them and engage with them. The learning process, the information is quite a challenge for others, but for a functional skill students, SEND students, they easily get the information that fast. Okay. So it's very important for us teachers to know the capacity, the skills, okay, the multiple intelligence of our students, for us to cater the right inclusive technique or accommodation so they could or they will get help, okay, and improve under different areas. So let me just show you. Neurodiversity comes with different pictures, okay, and additional needs. So the brain works differently for them, and it will differ according to the disability or the additional needs of our students. We might have a gifted student who get the information as fast as they can. We might have a specific learning disorder student who may be a challenge for us in terms of teaching process. We might have auditory processing, or very sensitive with sensory issues or integration of learning. And comorbidity is also functional, with depression and anxiety. Okay, that's why it's very important with the intervention that we cater also mental health, along with intervention at the same time with inclusion. Okay, we may have also experienced trauma and different ways. So if you could imagine, these things can may have impact on the way they get to process information. Okay? The strength and unique student. They often have a teacher, we need to discover this strength. For example, children with autism may have exceptional memory and attention to details, while children with ADHD may have high energy level and willingness to take risks. So if you could identify the differences in their strength and their weaknesses, then you could cater the right accommodation and modification for them. Then you could see the maximum potential of our students succeeding in every details of our classrooms, and the whole institution collaboratively help each other hand by hand to see this improvement together. Okay? So inclusive education is giving us the opportunity to cater all the needs of our student, regardless of, okay, we have a regular student and this special needs. So during my time as a SEND coordinator in Dubai, all students under the SEN, we have the physical disability, we engage them with sports at the same time. We are not allowed to exclude them because of their disability. They can be able to showcase their skills and talents for them to feel that they are part of the system, that's being inclusive. So another, neurodiversity comes with different concentration. So it is very important to always inject mental health. It's the gift of thinking and expression of our students. Social, emotional, behavior are very important in accommodating and in correlating learning to our SEND students. Most especially right now, the pressure of our society, the pressure of the things that they see in the social media, in the gadgets, are quite alarming that may cause them too much pressure and to suppress emotions that will trigger them to feel depressed and feel unconscious to the different perspectives of life. Plus the challenges that they may feel because of how the brain works differently. Just to give you an example, for autism spectrum disorder, they might have difficulty in terms of socialization, okay? But they have the strength in terms of concentration, fine details processing, okay? And the memory, you will be amazed in terms of how they grasp memory or details. For dyslexia, they might have difficulty in terms of reading, okay? But they are good in terms of visual thinking, the creativity that they could express, and the 3D mechanical skills that the brain function among these dyslexic students. And of course, with the ADHD, they may have difficulty in terms of hyperactivity, attention focus. But you see, the brain works differently with ADHD. They are more creative. They are hyper-focused when they really want what they are doing. And the energy and the passion, you could see how they really give their best, even though they have the barrier or the challenges. Let's have the DCD or dyspraxia. So dyspraxia might be difficulty in terms of coordinating, right? But they have this strength in terms of verbal skills, the empathy, they could understand emotions and understanding of the society. The intuition is very good in terms of this dyspraxia student. So this is how diverse brain works in different types of disabilities. See, it's a very challenging for us educators to identify the strengths and weaknesses. But if you get the point and the whole umbrella of what they can do, they can be a good and eventually give the best that they can be and be part of our society, of our nation building. So most common of the issues of neurodiversity, just to give you the idea, we have in this umbrella, we have autism spectrum disorder, dyspraxia, dyslexia. We have also sensory processing disorder or SPD, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is very common in our classroom setting right now. So teachers might have this difficulty managing this kind of students. Okay? That's why we need to equip ourselves as educators. They might act differently. We are all different in our God give us differently in a manner that this might be a challenging student. The physical aspects is quite a challenge if they have a physical disability. And the image that we see from them is really a manifestation that I have a sense student. Remember, the brain function among them differently. If the brain differently works, then we understand that they have this gift, the gift and a pattern of this understanding. We might understand concepts, details immediately, but for them, they may understand it with the help of visuals. The others may understand it with the help of sensory. The others can do it with the help of kinesthetics or by sports. You see, the brain is very magic. It has a magic, no? The magic that impacts these sense students to be more powerful in their different kind of challenges, okay, or additional needs. Now, we could see this perfect perspective in a different way. So just to give you a viewpoint as an educator that we need to embrace those images, okay? And we need to dig deeper for us to understand our students well. So the common type is what we have, the autism spectrum disorder. For the autism, it involves degree of difficulty in communicating with others and sensory overload. So it is also a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects how a person thinks, communicates, behave, and interact with others. The word spectrum indicates the wide range of symptoms and skills. So they have this feature, the challenges in social interaction, communication difficulties, just like verbal and nonverbal, repetitive behavior, or restricted interest to certain things. Okay? The sensory sensitive might be in noise, the light. Okay? So the brain of ESD students might be a challenge for us educator. But you see, there are ESD students who could really draw, okay, paint with a deeper perspective. So that's how the brain works for them. So look at the brain of an autism student. Okay? So their brain works differently with every autistic person is unique. Okay? So they have a social deficit, but their social skills deficit can bring on social and communication differences. Okay, they can express it through hug. Okay, they express it through the things that they could immediately have this empathy to others. No, difference is not a deficit. Being different is not a deficit. It is something that we could see as a gift, a magic of the brain works differently. A brain is different for ESD, but they have a deeper interest to specific details. Okay? So they are very passionate with specific details that they really want to do. So in terms of teaching, we might have difficulty in terms of social skills, but ESD, most especially if it's higher functioning, it will be easy for them to grasp information. What we need for autism student is a proper intervention, just like we have recommended for applied behavioral therapy, with collaboration with the teachers, with the parents. They should be informed. Collaboration is very important in helping our autism students to cope up with the challenging time of education. Okay. So what else? We have developmental coordination disorder, as we call it DCD. So this is also a neurological condition that affects physical coordination. Okay. So it can impact fine and gross motor skills and making everyday tasks like writing quite challenging for them. They're participating in sports in a more difficult part. Okay. So DCD is quite a difficulty in coordination. But the gift of having this one may have you the ability for them to see or create things accordingly. Okay. So it could be good in different sports, different aspects of life, just like painting, drafting, and other things. They may have difficulty in writing, but they could have a powerful gift in the area of their multiple intelligences. So what is the key points for dyspraxia? So it's a poor balance coordination. There will be areas of clumsiness, frequent flipping and dropping things, difficulty with tasks requiring manual dexterity, using calculating and handwriting. So you could use technology to assist dyspraxia students. Trouble writing in motor skills like riding a bike or catching a ball. So you might have a technology that could help them develop or assist them in addressing their challenges or additional needs. Okay? So that's part of accommodation. For our dyslexia, just to give you the idea of these difficulties or additional needs. For dyslexia, it's a specific learning disability that primarily affects a person's ability to read and spell. Okay, for dyslexia, they see these letters sounding okay, difficulty in understanding to read because letters are gambling in their brain. Okay. Neurologically, origin, people with dyslexia have difficulty processing sounds in language. So phonologically process is the main challenge of this student. Even though they usually have the average or above average intelligence, that could also possess challenges in terms of reading, okay, and of course processing information. Okay. So what else we have? The characteristics of dyslexia. So we might notice our students have the difficulty in terms of reading fluently and accurately. We've done all the extra enrichment classes. Okay, they've done a lot of things to help your student. But see, you could have this very challenging part for him or for her to understand reading, okay, and most especially comprehension. So problem with spelling is often inconsistent because the letters are gambling now as if it's flying in other part of their brain. Okay? And when they connect these letters, they can hardly understand and read it. Okay? That is dyslexia. They have the trouble with decoding words, with the sounding and unfamiliar words. Slow reading and writing speed is one of the characteristics of dyslexia and avoiding of reading related tasks. Okay? When it comes to reading, you've done a lot of motivation, but reading for them is quite hard. Those are the manifestations or characteristics of student with dyslexia. We need to take note of this one as educators because those are one of the red flags that our student needs extra attention. So SPD is very common. It's a sensory processing disorder. It's a condition where the brain has trouble receiving responding information. You've done all the ways on how you could teach your student to read and write, but the brain respond it differently. So it has a sensory issues like the sound, okay, the sight, the smells, the texture, and the movement. That could lead to overreaction. That's why there will be some issues or challenges that your student might just shout unexpectedly without any reason because he's been overly stimulated by his sight, the sound, and even the smell. So the underreaction of the brain reflects on the behavior of our SPD students. Unusual responses to sensory experiences. That's why it is very important to accommodate SPD and student with the proper classroom setting where the sound, the noise, the textures are all adapting to their needs. Okay? So misbehavior will not be a cause of trouble for them or that also affect the entire class. So what else? We have in children, they may have trouble with motor skills or fine grasp motor skills. Remember, these are the reflexes in the formative stage of their development. This should be developed, but for these students, this is underdeveloped or it is quite late for them. With the help of therapy, okay, or other therapies, they could have improve in this area. Why is it important to have an early intervention? So we are talking about inclusivity and the magic of neurodiverse students. Without early intervention, it will be hard for the brain, to grasp the information. If you identify that you have ADHD at the age of 20s, okay, and you will undergo a therapy, it will be a difficult part for you to get all the information. But early intervention is recommended for early age. Why? For this level, the brain is still developing. So if the brain is still developing, you could still redirect, okay, or correct the challenges or the needs of these 10 students. What happened during neurodiversity comes from the early part of the development. Okay, that will be inside the womb of the mother. There might be a challenges during the pregnancy that affects the development, okay, of this student or child. So difficulties with self-regulation, we have also emotional regulation or attention difficulties. Okay, avoids or craves certain food or texture because they have sensory issues, right? Struggles in school setting, they are also destructive, okay, and they outburst with tantrums. So in adults, now this is the difficult part. If you identified or you've been diagnosed with different capabilities or the challenges of disabilities when you're already in late adults. Okay? You are easily overwhelmed by sensory inputs. So your work, relationships would be affected. May avoid specific environment or situations. And anxiety and fatigue from sensory overload is quite challenging for you. That's why you often develop coping strategies like It could be have noise cancelling or headphones or routines that could help you out, cope up with this. But remember, without intervention, that could be, or a therapy, that could be a very challenging in those late adults who've been identified with these difficulties or challenges. So let's proceed with the ADHD. Okay. You might have an ADHD student in your classes, right? So very common. ADHD is a deficit in terms of attention, hyperactivity disorder. It is also under the umbrella of neurodevelopmental disorder that affects both children and adults. I have cases during my days in our center that has been diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 28. So it's already in his late adulthood. Now, I recommended him for a therapy, and then one factor that he could eventually discuss during our sessions is that those therapy techniques is not, it's hard for him, to adapt with it. Even the therapist repeatedly instruct him to do this way, this is what you do, step by step. It is really hard for him to get all the information. Then I told the client it's because of our brain structure. Remember, the brain hardly gets information when you are already in your old age, in this area where the brain already fully developed. At the age of 25, our brain will have this fully development. So that's why it is very important to integrate accommodation, therapy during the younger years. Okay? So it involves persistent pattern of intervention or inattentionness, hyperactivity and impulsivity. So we could see those red flags, for them to function in terms of focus and attention. ADHD is not a behavioral problem. We could see that, it's a behavioral problem, because it's not getting my instruction well or lack of discipline, but a difference in the brain functioning. Okay? So particularly in the areas of attention, executive function, and self-regulation, it is because of the brain structure. Okay? We will not label them, our student A is quite having a behavioral issue because of lack of discipline, always getting lost with his pencil and a lot of things is getting lost. Okay? So remember, it's not because of the behavior itself. The behavior is the underlying issue, okay? Because the main issue is what? The brain structure is hardly, giving him the signal to get the attention, and the executive function is the processing unit of the brain where they regulate, the function of getting information accordingly and to focus on the information. And self-regulation is how the emotion is being interpreted by the brain. Okay? Because of these additional needs or challenges, the ADHD student may have difficulty in terms of being impulsive, okay? And having a pattern of difficulty in terms of arranging things, okay? Being on task, so staying focused, those are quite challenging for them. So what else? We have a neurodiversity comes with different pictures. So I just want you, dear students and educators, to see different aspects of a neurodiverse child. They could have a different colors, a different views, images on how to interpret and process information. We are not all the same, okay? Just like them. The brain works on a magic, I call it magic, because I'm always amused on how they could give their very best in spite of the challenges or the disability. Okay? We have the autism, okay? They could view as a challenge in terms of socialization, but they could have a fast-pacing processing of memory, okay? With ADHD, by the way, I have a client before who's been diagnosed with ADHD. He used that identification or ADHD for him not to really work hard. He's been hired by a company and doing series of research, and the ADHD helped him stay focused, no, on the task that he needs to finish. So he's been always submitting exactly before the deadline, the projects, okay, the researches, because of the help also of the therapies. Okay, during the early years, he undergo therapy, and then during the adult years, now he's now working, those challenges has been redirected and formed to a more diverse focus, no, and he has this kind of plans in life that, I have to finish this one afterwards. He's been more organized this time rather than on her early years. Okay, so that's the power of neurodiversity to our students. So what else? Challenges of neurodiverse children. We have to identify what are the common challenges that they may encounter. So, okay, so we have neurodiverse students may also face unique challenges that can make it difficult for them to succeed in a certain areas. Remember, in a certain areas only. They can succeed in other areas where we could help them discover. Okay? Discovering is a challenge for us educators, but when we unleash their full blast potential, they could succeed amidst the diversity of life. For example, children with dyslexia may struggle with reading and writing, while children with sensory processing disorder may also be easily overwhelmed by sensory stimuli. So those are the focus of the brain challenges. So what else? Let me just show you a picture, an image, where these challenges comes from. Okay, the multiple forms of disadvantage can be compounded to create a larger barrier in terms of obstacles, like the training, okay, and educational setting, the work setting, and some of the teachers are not really equipped in terms of managing these diverse students. Okay, that's why it's very important to inject training to all teachers in spite of your specialization, the importance of handling sense student or special needs. There is a challenge also in the nature or the disadvantage of dual intersection of identities. What are those? Because of culture, because of the age, the gender, the religion, okay, the social class, sexuality, and ethnicity. Those are barriers and challenges. Personal characteristics never exist in isolation, but also intertwine with produce compounding effect, okay? Especially among minority groups. So when we advocate inclusive education, we need to give more training to our school, to our students, and to all part of the system of the institution. For us to at least lower down, if not erase it, at least lower down the challenges of the SEN students, because they could be understand, they could be a help, okay, that the institution could give them, and additional attention for those most challenging students. So neurodiversity, just to give you a picture, this is the brain and the strength of our SEN students. They are being neurodiverse with a lot of strength. Okay? They could have a certain creativity that we need to cultivate and help them to discover this creativity among them. They could also have a gift of problem solving, where they could solve certain things, to play, where other students can't eventually discover it, or do it alone. They have also a potential of being observational skills, as if they are not listening to you, but they are observing you. Okay? And they could easily get the information by means of observational skills. And what else? They have the pattern of recognition. Okay? So that's why, as educators, we need to inject different types of institutional materials, for them to get help in the pattern. there are some students who could learn by means of visuals. Others can learn by means of tactile. Okay? Other students could have be more on kinesthetics, okay, or either auditory, okay, by means of listening. The pattern of recognition can help them connect, no, and the brain will be prompted that, oh, okay, this is what you're going to understand. Because of these visuals, the brain will be prompted to understand these areas of concern, though that student has a difficulty in, okay, in the specific areas. They have also strategic analysis, no, highly logical, and visual reasoning is quite good for some of our science students. You see, neurodiversity gives us a lot of bigger perspective to understand the concept of strength of our students. Okay? And those strengths can be a beneficial factor for them to do well, not just academically, okay, behaviorally, but they could have a big impact or contribution to our world. Though they have the strength, they have also the barriers and challenges. Okay. So those are identified by a psychoeducational, psychological, done by a psychologist. Okay. So those barriers can be a helpful tool for us educators to target the issues of concern of our students. Remember, once we know we have the background, these issues due to executive functioning can be addressed immediately, and with the collaboration of the different specialties, no, that could be a great impact to the formation or formative stage of our student. The issues due to neurodiversity traits, just like a repetitive behavior or attention and concentration, they might have motor co-coordination issues, social emotional differences. When you combine them together, it might be a heavy load for us teachers or for the students. But remember, you are not alone in this area. Okay? That's why it's very important to collaboratively work together. That's also one of the magic, okay, of handling neurodiversity in our inclusive institution. So the cycle, okay, just to give you an idea, so the brain works differently and it thinks differently. So I want people to like me and I want to fit in. Okay. So if you have an autism student, they may think this way, no? I have to do what they expect me by masking, okay, or showing differently, as if I am good in writing, but I cannot really read well. So I can't look after myself and meet my own needs too. So if you have a physical disability student, they might think this way. I burn out and go into crisis. Those students might have difficulty or challenges with their mental health. They may feel burned out because of that difficulty. And some of them, you might notice that they may have a withdrawal behavior. I withdraw from others. I isolate myself from others. So those are red flags. And we need to, as much as possible, we need immediately give them attention and refer them to an appropriate specialist. Okay. So how neurodiversity affects learning? So our students may require different types of learning strategies, accommodation, or support to succeed in the classroom. So teachers, those strategies are very helpful for us to be more equipped with our accommodation and support to our students. By providing these accommodations and support, we can help them access, okay? We need to help them. No? That's the main umbrella or the main use of inclusivity in every institution. The accessible curriculum and learn at their own pace. Okay? So remember, the brain works in a pattern where it could be fast for the others, slow for the others, or you need an extra strategy for them to get used to it. Okay? So that pacing could be a great help. Practice, learn, relearn, okay? Imitate, model. Okay, those are the things that we could help, them for them to acquire success. Okay. So let me just give you a particular summary, no? So we have, for example, dysgraphia. The challenges will be more on fine motor skills in handwriting, legible handwriting, inconsistent use of letters, and difficulty with special planning or paper. So you could see this is just the summary of the challenges that they may encounter. Okay, if you have a language processing disorder student, of course, the challenge will be more on processing skills, difficulty understanding the meaning in spoken language, poor reading and comprehension. Okay, so just to give you a picture on how they really manifest these challenges. So this is also important for advocating inclusivity among each schools. By creating a more inclusive learning environment, we can help neurodiverse children or students feel valued and supported. So inclusion also helps to combat stereotypes and stigma surrounds neurodiverse condition. So they are all interconnected, and once they have been experiencing of maladaptive behavior, they feel that they are isolated. Okay, that could be a barrier for them in terms of progress. Okay, but if our science students feel they are understand, they could easily get support. Okay, the educators are helping them out. No, we have individualized educational plan and behavioral plans for them. Then these successes are all possible. Okay, surrounding these neurodiverse conditions. So affirming these practices of neurodiversity students, just a simple tips that we could adapt in our daily routine as teachers. We need to embrace differences. Okay? Our brain works differently as much as our students. Okay? It comes from a different perspective, different race, gender. Examine your own biases. Might be as a teacher, you have your biases. You are good with this student, and then you neglect the need of this particular student. Okay? So we need also to reflect on our values as a teacher. We prioritize lived experience. Okay? It means we give them extraordinary activities where they could create a more diverse learning. If a student cannot write, you might have let them answer the question through oral way. So what else? Neurodiversity affirming practices like promote self-advocacy. We could promote inclusivity among us as teachers. Strength-based approach. Okay? As a SEN teacher, I always tell this to our teachers under my department before, that our strength comes from within. It's an inner motivation because our SEN student needs us most. Okay? And raise awareness, starting with this one, we have embracing training internationally. We engage with different perspectives with our different specialists. That's awareness. And we could adapt this awareness to our classrooms and to our students. Neurodiversity practices just like challenge neuronormative bias. Okay, we have this thought that ADHD is not existing. Okay, we don't have sensory issues. It's just a manner of child rearing of the parent. We need to be more open about neuroformative biases. Okay, and active collaboration with the specialists, with other institutions, with the help of with our supervisors, with the owners of the schools. Okay, and those are very helpful way for us to collaboratively work together and exchange of ideas that could help our SEN students. We have also to validate the differences. We are all interconnected worldwide, and it also manifests on how we think differently. It has a lot of factors, So we need to validate those differences. Again, the magic of neurodiverse students learn better in different series. So just to give you an idea, neurodiverse brain works like this. Each student is viewed as having a unique strength in regardless of their neurological profile. Neurodiversity is celebrated as necessary variation, not a way of make student conform. The school provides neurodiversity awareness activities to help students understand their strength, the needs, and promoting acceptance of difference. So neurodiversity is inviting neurodivergent learners to speak to a neurodiversity celebration week or related events. So professionals also develop activities to train staff, schools in a neuro-inclusive approach for a diverse needs. The deans, the principals leads effort for the promoting of this organizational culture that values the neurodiversity among schools and staff, families, and of course the community. Reflecting on these activities is very important for us to integrate help from others. People became more aware in the act of their cognitive biases. Okay, so this is very important for us. So the affirmating practices, we need to presume competence by means of training, just like this. We have to promote autonomy and power among the capability of our teachers, respect all communication styles, and be informed by neurodivergent voices, just like the SEND teacher and other specialists. We need to take strength based on approach that we are most effectively and efficiency. We have also to honor neurodivergent culture, okay, and tailor it to support the individual needs. Number 7, to focus on adapting, okay, or getting what the child really needs individually that will cater through the different affirming practices. Okay. So just to give you a picture, this is a neuro-inclusive school where everyone is part of the inclusion, okay, or being inclusive. The school give accommodation, train teachers, there's a facility, okay, there's an environment where everyone are able to express. There are a lot of activities that SEND students can be part of it, no? Okay, offering a variety of options, okay, accommodation modifications, okay, for our SEND students. And the magic of neurodiversity or neurodiverse students, to give you an emphasis on, we have a creativity to what? Neurodiverse students often think outside of the box. So seeing solution that others may not. Or even us as teacher, no, we cannot think that way. Okay, that's why we think outside the box. Their creativity shines in a problem-solving arts. Okay, they are more on the powerful tool of problem-solving, arts, and innovative thinking. Okay, they are more innovative, okay, in terms of ways that they have. Visual thinking is also a strength for them. Pattern in recognition and abstract problem solving, most especially for higher functioning students. So a unique perspective approach, they bring a different lens or picture through which to view the world, whether it's a child with autism, seeing pattern other miss, or a student with ADHD, bringing an energetic, out-of-the-box idea. Okay. So I'm also a SEND teacher. When I handle the students, I'm always amazed on the output, the way they answer, okay, the way they interact with others, most especially with the help, okay, of other specialists. Their ability to approach problem from different angles can spark the discussion, okay? The new ideas and creative projects in the classroom. That's the magic of neurodiverse learners or students. Another, students with ADHD combined with autism may develop a deep interest and hyperfocus. So they have this brain structure where hyperfocus is there on topics that they really love. So when you engage them with topics or areas that you could get the attention, they will have this hyper-focus projection to you. This intense passion can lead to expertise in specific areas from science or arts or history. They might be good in science, arts, or the history, or they have this kind of enthusiasm or drive that could lead to remarkable accomplishments. So, magic of neurodiverse students gives us the vibrant, the diverse strength. Many neurodiverse students process incredibly in terms of their abilities with the art, with the music, maths, technology, or spatial reasoning. These students may excel in the areas with traditional educational system or haven't focused bringing in depth and variety of the classroom and beyond. So that is why it is very important to have an inclusive class setting for us to give them all opportunity in terms of their facing in, grabbing, or getting the information. Their strengths offer unique contribution to the world. Okay? So also, it has bigger impact on terms of compassion and empathy. So neurodiverse student has a sense of empathy. They are also creative and flexible in terms of teaching methods. For us teachers, which can be a beneficial or benefit for the entire class. Okay, so we need also to be more innovative in terms of our teaching process and become more adaptable and improve their overall approach to teach. Okay, so as teacher, our bigger contribution to the world and to our neurodiverse students play a key role in shaping a more inclusive society. Okay. So I'm almost in the last part of my presentation. Let me just show you a video on how neurodiverse student works differently in an inclusive class.
Every one of us looks different. And in the same way, everyone's brain works differently too. And so we all experience the world differently. We all like and dislike different things. We all find some things easy and some things difficult. And this varies from person to person. The world would be very boring if we were all the same. But for some people, the difference between the things they find easy and hard are more noticeable. This is because their brains have grown in a different way, and this can make life difficult for them. Some people are identified as having a condition because of how different their brain works. You may have heard of autism, ADHD, or dyslexia. There are many types of these conditions, and some people are affected more than others. So some may need a little bit of help with learning, like with their reading, writing, or counting, and everyday activities like going to the bathroom and washing themselves, whereas others may need a lot more help. Our senses, what we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, send information to our brains about our world. But there are some children whose brains are connected differently to others. And when the brain and senses don't communicate well, the person gets confused and has trouble understanding the world around them. So what they hear, smell, or feel, everyday things that most of us don't have a problem with, can be frightening or upsetting for them. This can cause them to get upset, shout, scream, or cry. They are not being naughty. There is too much happening around them and their brain can't process it. So they may need to take a break to a quiet place on their own to feel better again. So what do these differences look like? Well, there are some children that may not be able to say a lot of words for their age, or even be able to speak at all. They may babble or make noises that we don't understand. or repeat the same words or do the same action over and over again. They may appear very shy and find it hard to communicate with others. So to ask for something, they may use sign language or pictures instead of their voice. They may also move their bodies unusually or flap their hands, rock or spin. They may find it hard to sit or wait patiently in a queue. They may find simple changes difficult, like eating a new food, going to a new classroom, or having a new teacher. But it is important to remember that people who have these differences are different in some ways, but they are also the same as everybody else in many other ways. We all have habits to make us feel calm in uncomfortable situations. We might look away, chew our fingernails, or fidget. In the same way, you may see some children chewing, sucking, or holding objects that you may find a bit odd or babyish, but this is perfectly okay. It's just their way of helping themselves feel calm and relaxed too. All these different behaviours are not something to be scared of. Children are born with these conditions and you can't catch it like a cold. They are not ill or broken. They just need a little more support from family, friends and teachers. You should feel free to talk openly about it and ask questions to adults. Sometimes when children are different, other children will ignore them or even be unkind. It's important to be caring and understanding towards others that behave in ways that we might think are strange or immature. Many of these children struggle to fit in and make friends, so it is a great thing to help them if you can. Say hello and be friendly. Even include them in your games and activities, if they want to, of course. Remember to be patient and give them time. Ask yourself, if I had these types of issues, how would I want other children to treat me? Children whose brains have developed differently are just like you. They have things they are very good at and things they are not. And just like you, they have many activities they enjoy doing too. By being more caring and understanding, it doesn't just help others, it also helps you learn more about yourself and the world you live in, and helps us all become the best we can be.
Okay. So I just want to cite some of the references. The magic of neurodiversity for our student isn't just their abilities, isn't just the richness they bring to the world. They challenge us to think bigger, more creatively, and more inclusively. Their resilience, talent, and uniqueness inspire everyone around them to be more accepting, more empathetic, and ultimately more human. So for us educators, we are now able to be an inspiration to bring change of this neurodiversity to our individual students and to our class. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, sa inyong pakikinig for those, for our partners. Okay? Thank you so much for your time and for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malaya-Alarte, for that insightful and heartwarming presentation. Your insight remind us of the importance of recognizing the uniqueness in every learner. Well, now we move on to our second session, which will explore how every child has their own unique way of learning and expressing intelligence. The topic is highly relevant to inclusive education, especially in science classroom where diverse thinking should be celebrated. Please welcome Dr. Dhuta Sukmarani, Magister of Science from Universitas Muhammadiyah, Magelang. Good morning, Mom Dhuta. How are you?
Hai, good morning everyone. Selamat pagi semuanya. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I'm fine. Alhamdulillah.
Very nice to meet you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Mom Dhuta. She is one of lecturer in the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang. She completed her bachelor, master, and doctoral degree in Jenderal Sudirman University. She has conducted extensive research in both environmental education and biology, with studies ranging from fostering environmental problem-solving skill to the genetic diversity of mangrove species around Java Island. Since 2023, she has served as the head of the Development and Learning Division of Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang. In addition to judging the West Bank competition in 2023 and 2024, she was also selected as the panelist for the 2024 ISMA Sustainable Development Goals Campaign Challenge. Wow, that's amazing! And today, she will share valuable insight through her talk entitled Every Child is Smart in Their Own Way, Exploring Multiple Intelligence in Science Classroom. Mom Dhuta, are you ready? The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Erin. And I would like to begin my respectfully greeting to the Dean of College of Teacher Education in USANT, Mr. Rafael Onate, PhD, and the Dean of Faculty Teacher and Training Education, Unimma, Mr. Ari Suryawan, MPD, and the Head of Department Elementary School Education, Mr. Agristo Bintang Aji Pradana, and of course, the most inspiring speaker today, Ma'am Maria Jolit Angeline, PhD, and all my dear colleagues and students. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. It's truly an honor to share this space of learning and inspiration with all of you. And my name is Dhuta Sukmarani. I'm here today to not just share idea, but to invite you to see your future classroom through a new lens that every intelligence is valued. Okay, before I start my presentation, I really hope this session will be interactive. So feel free to share your thought in the chat or respond whenever I ask question. Okay, here we go. This is our theme today. Every child is smart in their own way, exploring multiple intelligences in science classroom. Okay, now start with the question. You can answer in the chat. What was your favorite way to learn as a kid? Okay, playing. Okay, Mr. Agristo Bintang, thank you. Maybe the others? Yeah, okay. I love that, Mr. Agristo. Thank you. Hide and seek. Okay, that is also playing. What I want to say is, it's so how different we all are. That is exactly what we'll explore today. What about this? What would you do if your student couldn't sit still, or maybe don't follow the instruction the normal way, or seemed like they weren't smart the way others expected? That is a challenging classroom, right? Now we're gonna watch a video for the beginning.
A story is told about a young Thomas Edison who came home one day with a paper for his mother. He told her, "My teacher told me to give this paper only to my mother." Thomas's mother read the note and her eyes filled with tears. Thomas asked his mother what the note said, and she read aloud, "Your son is a genius. This school is too small for him and doesn't have enough good teachers for training him. Please teach him yourself." And that's exactly what Thomas's mother did. She homeschooled her child with devotion and dedication. As the story goes, many years later, after Thomas Edison's mother passed on, and he was now one of the world's greatest inventors, he found a folded paper among other family items. He opened the very same paper that had been handed to him to give to his mother and read the following message: "Your son is mentally ill. We won't let him come to school anymore." At that moment, Edison realized what his mother had done for him so many years ago. He wrote in his diary, "Thomas Alva Edison was an addled child that by a hero mother became the genius of the century. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." Let's take this message to heart and resolve to use our words for healing today. You might be a parent. What do you say to your children? You might be a teacher. What do you say to your student? Especially the ones that are not really performing well presently. May the words you use today change a life for the
Okay,
better.
we just watched the video about one of the world's greatest inventors, Thomas Alva Edison. Let's go back in time to a little boy named Thomas. His teacher thought he was adult or a trouble kid, and his school gave up on him, but his mother didn't. And now,
A
the
story is
questions
told about
are:
it.
what if Edison's mother had believed that the school said? What if she didn't see the brilliance that just looked different? Of course, we know the answer. But he didn't fit the mold of a good student in his time. Intelligent is not. Okay, I'm sorry. I think the network is have a trouble. I will share my screen again. Okay. So after we watch the video, we can identify that Thomas Edison had a powerful intrapersonal intelligence. He was curious, self-driven, and imaginative, but he didn't fit the mold of a good student in his time. So it reminds us that intelligence is not one size fits all. Now, have you ever met a child who was amazing at art or music, but struggled with reading or math? Or maybe one who could explain science concept by building things, but had trouble writing it down? So, why does Thomas Edison's story matter to us as a future educator? Because the stories remind us it's not about how smart a child is. It's about how they are smart. And as a future educators, it's our job to find that light in every learner. Okay, let me give you a quick background on the mind behind this theory. He is Howard Gardner, a developmental psychologist and professor at Harvard University. In 1983, he proposed the theory of multiple intelligences, challenging the idea that intelligence is only about IQ or academic ability. His theory says that there is not just one way to be smart. There are many. And every child, powerful idea, right? That there are many kind of intelligence and that every child is smart in their own way. So let's say that this is the ways to be smart. First, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. They are people who learn through movement and hand-on activities. And the second, interpersonal intelligence. Those are people who are great understanding others, like to work in a team, great communication. And the third, verbal linguistic intelligence. People who love words. Maybe they love reading, writing, telling stories, or speaking. The next is logical mathematical intelligence. Are people who enjoy problem solving, like pattern, numbers, and logical thinking. And naturalistic intelligence, maybe they are sensitive to nature. They love animals, plants, and environment. And the interpersonal intelligence, people who are very self-aware and they understand their own feeling. The seven, visual spatial intelligence. If you are some who think in image, pictures, great with maths, maybe art or maybe the design. And the last is musical intelligence. If you are sensitive to sound, rhythms and music, and maybe you are easily remember lesson when they are sung. Okay, now that we understand the students are smart in many different ways, let's talk about the real life, the science classroom. Science is exciting, right? But it can also be challenging because every student learns differently. As a teacher, we must create learning experience that reach all kind of intelligence. That that is not always easy, right? Okay, here is the science classroom challenge. We can identify our student intelligence and what are they need to learn. I will take some of example. If you find a student maybe struggle to understand abstract science concept, maybe it's related to visual spatial intelligence and they need more image, diagram, or models to see the idea. And if you find some student may be shy during the group work, it's related to interpersonal intelligence and they may need more support to feel comfortable collaborating. And if you find some students prefer working alone quietly, it may be related to intelligent intrapersonal. They might need independent project or reflection time. And of course, if you find some students respond better to song, rhythms, or pattern, it's musical intelligence. They could remember better through science song or rhythmic learning. Now imagine being a science teacher with all these different kind of learner in your class. The challenge is one method won't reach everyone. But the solution now, multiple method, multiple pathway, just like multiple intelligences. When we design science learning experience that connect with different strengths, every student can succeed. So this is the example of classroom simple steps. In the step one, you can introduce introduce to student what are they going to do maybe to create their very own ecosystem. And then in the second section, ice break, you can stimulate the musical intelligence or intrapersonal intelligence by create a song or rap about their ecosystem. In the stage 3, their research, and we can stimulate naturalistic intelligence with give student basic information about food chain or maybe go outside. Stage 4, we can stimulate visual spatial intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence by tasking students with designing or draw the ecosystem layout. In the next stage, we stimulate bodily kinesthetic intelligence by give a task for them to build 3D models with material or role play an animal. And the next stage, we can stimulate the linguistic intelligence and intrapersonal intelligence with us student to present their work, and student will more confident to present in front of the class. In the last stage, seventh stage, we can reflect together with student to stimulate intrapersonal intelligence. Okay, science classroom can be designed to touch several intelligence, but not necessarily all at once. It's mean it will be okay if we are not using the stimulation for all of the 8 intelligence at once. You can choose the right intelligence stimulation at the right time. Okay, sorry. Let's look what happening in Indonesia. Curriculum Merdeka, or we can say freedom curriculum, is a great step forward. It's recognized that each student is different. Its interest, talent, and learning style. The Curriculum Merdeka or freedom curriculum is encourage teacher to recognize student different talent and ways of learning and give teacher the freedom to adapt the approach. Because this activity activates the bodily kinesthetic intelligence because the students are using their hands, music, mixing, and following step physically. And picture also you see the student in preach force lesson. This activity tap into several intelligence. First, bodily kinesthetic because they are using head movement to understand how it works. Also, intelligence and interpersonal intent as together communicate clearly and Okay, I'm sorry with the unstable network. I will share my screen again. Okay, here we are. So another exciting practice in Indonesia, beside the Merdeka curriculum or freedom curriculum, we have Sekolah Alam or nature school. Nature schools also support the differentiated learning by adapting to students' learning ways, interests, and pace. It's also aligned with Gardner's multiple intelligences through hand-on activities that develop various intelligences in nature. And this is a story from SDIT Alam Nurul Islam in Yogyakarta. This school doesn't just teach with book, but they use the environment, student learning by doing, exploring, and engaging with the nature. This is the practice of multiple intelligences classroom in the smart way. And this is the introduce stage. Now let's imagine that what it look like in the classroom. Step one, the topic in a way that grab attention. The teacher engaging both interpersonal and visual spatial from the start. And second stage, we give the ice breaking for the students. We could add a fun song or movement based activity. These connect especially with students who are musical or physical learner or bodily kinesthetic learner. Maybe we can create an ecosystem dance or a song about the food chain, etc. In the next stage is research or exploring time. Some might work independently, like in the picture, reflecting on what they curious about in computer, or might sketch diagram, maps, or visual notes. Here we are engaging the intrapersonal and visual spatial intelligence. And meanwhile, others may explore through interaction in pair or small group like this, or they may build, move, sort, or even role play. These activities nurture the interpersonal and bodily kinesthetic intelligence. And this is very powerful moment, especially for kinesthetic and self-aware learner. It also stimulates intrapersonal and bodily kinesthetic. And the other create or project stage is we can see the student using their imagination and creativity to draw tooth, and in the middle picture they draw the plants they want to grow in the next project. And the activity taps into interpersonal, visual, spatial, and bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Now, after they draw, they begin planting. In this stage, students explore logical mathematical intelligence as they think about the condition of the plant they need to grow. Maybe the soil, the water, the sunlight. And in the third picture, they track ground pattern. It's also strength the bodily kinesthetic interpersonal, logical, mathematical, and naturalistic, of course. This is the harvest and cook time. Once the vegetables are ready, they harvest it and cook with their team or in a small group, and it stimulates the interpersonal, bodily kinesthetic, logical, mathematical, and naturalistic intelligence. This is the other example of the project, fish farming for fifth grade student, and it's also stimulate the interpersonal, bodily kinesthetic, logical, mathematical, and naturalistic. In the last stage of learning, we have present and reflection. In this section, students are encouraged to share their learning journey or present their work like this by the festival. And they are using their verbal linguistic, intrapersonal intelligence. They express their idea really clearly using the right vocabulary and sometimes even storytelling to engage their audience. And in these steps, also helps students grow not just in knowledge but in self-awareness too, their confidence, and also their creativity. This is the reflect time with the teacher. Since is taught not just with theory but the real world project like experiment, exploration, connecting to student daily life and local potential. Okay, don't forget that intelligence already exists in our mind, that our role is to nurture and develop it. And intelligence is like a seed. We need to repeated care, time, and opportunities to grow. In designing learning, we aim to unlock the student potential by touching the different intelligences, not forcing all at one, but opening many doors over time. And for the last quotes, children are not things to be molded, but people to be unfolded. And don't forget that learning is a journey of a discovery for them and for us. So let's become a teacher who see not just where children are today, but the greatest they can become tomorrow. It's all from me. Thank you. Salamat. Can give the time to Erin.
Thank you, Ma'am Dhuta. Thank you, Ma'am Dhuta, for the enlightening perspective on inclusive teaching. Now we open the floor for question and reflection from our audience. This is your chance to engage directly with our speaker. If you have a question, please your hand or type it in the chat. We invite for two questions. Okay, we have several questions from Salsa Bila. I think this is from Mom Duta, right? In what ways does Curriculum Merdeka align with the principle of multiple intelligence? Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Salsabila. I want to direct answer your question. Implementing multiple intelligences in school sounds great in theory. After all, every child learning differently, but in practice, it is tough. Curriculum Merdeka or the freedom curriculum, I think encourage the flexibility in teaching and recognizing the diverse ability, interest, and learning styles of student. So it promotes the differentiated instruction. Maybe you can apply the project-based learning like I said before, and student choice aligning well with the Gardner vision, I'm sorry, by shifting focus from the rote learning to meaningful engagement between the teacher and the student, or maybe the student with other student, and it support the development of various intelligences within a culturally relevant context. And the curriculum Merdeka also allows for interdisciplinary themes, maybe creative expression, all of which support different intelligences. And yes, maybe that's from me.
Great explanation for Mom Duta, and we have time for more questions. Okay. And the question in the chat, and how might a teacher access student learning fairly in a classroom that has multiple intelligence? I think this question from Mom Duta again.
Okay, this is from Hoirunisa. Yes, okay, Hoirunisa. How to assess the multiple intelligence classroom? Yes, I think in a classroom that embraces multiple intelligence, fire assessment means going beyond the traditional tests we have now. And I think it's giving students different way to show what they learn. The assessment should be as diverse as the instruction. I mean, the teacher can offer option such as project presentation, or maybe we can assess the visual models, written reflection, or maybe collaborative task. And we also need to design the rubric that can evaluate not only content mastery but also their student creativity, or maybe their ability to solve the problem, or problem solving assessment, and maybe the teamwork. I think this flexible assessment approach ensure that the students are evaluated on their strengths and growth rather than a narrow academic criterion. Maybe that is my answer, Horinisa.
Oh, I think that is so clear. Great explanation from Mom Duta, and we have time for more questions. Okay, we have several questions. For Lutfiana, please direct your question to the speaker.
Hi, I'm Lutfiana. Maybe I have a question for Ma'am Maria. In our special needs, like Ma'am Maria just mentioned. So, after giving treatment to them, how to assess their achievement, and does one tool fit to others, or it made for only one student?
So after the identification, it is really important to take note, really to get to know first with your students the strength and weaknesses, and then eventually adapting with the curriculum is also very important on how you could have a diverse implementation of teaching approaches to your SEN students. So collaborately with your perspective with the different heads of the department, and the SEN teacher could really help the student cope up with the diverse learning style. So I hope I answer you. Yeah.
Okay, great explanation from Dr. Maria. And unfortunately, it was last question, everyone. But feel free to approach our speaker after this session. Maybe one question again. Okay, the question in the chat: how can teacher avoid labeling or limiting students based on perceived domain intelligence? I think this question for Mom Dhuta and
Okay, thank you, Erin. And who is asking? Sarah Halima. Okay, how can teach labeling or limiting student? Jen, okay. Okay, it's really crucial for teacher to view the multiple intelligences as a dynamic, not as fixed categories, right? A student might show strong musical intelligence today, but they can develop logical mathematic intelligence also, maybe through the exposure and encouragement. So the teacher roles is not to box student. We should not box the student, but to provide the opportunity to grow in all area. Let's like I said before that the intelligence is inside us, and we have to nurture that. Assessment and feedback for the intelligent multiple intelligence, sorry, it should highlighting the strength and encourage the risk taking in less development intelligence. So this is the balanced approach. Balanced approach for nurture a more holistic learner and prevent the danger of educational stereotyping. I think that is.
okay, thank you, Mom Dhuta, for explaining. I think this question could be delivered to Mom Maria. So, what do you think about labeling our student as student with special needs?
Okay. So again, as I advocate inclusivity and neurodiverse learning, for us educators, really encouraging not to label any students regardless of their disabilities or their weaknesses. Okay, so encouraging is much more uh, dynamic in terms of us as educators. We encourage them that they could really pursue the successes in terms of their academic challenges, because labeling can that will be a great challenge for them to be labeled as you don't know what to do, you're weak, psychologically it has an impact to them that they will not prosper or improve or progress in their academics or even socially because of those labels that keeps on pumping in their head that you are weak, you are nothing. Okay. So as teachers, we have to be more careful on the words that we say, and we have to be more um, advocate the change of perspective of the taboo or the labeling students with their disability. We could say that they have extra challenges or additional needs. But again, as I always encourage teachers, please do not label unless you have the psychological assessment that the child has ADHD or autism. Don't assess or tell to the parent that, you know what, the red flags manifestation of students of your child has ADHD without any psychological or assessment coming from the specialists. Okay? As teachers, we are not in the field to label any child unless it is assessed by other specialists. Thank you.
Great explanation, Ma'am Maria. Thank you for the answer. Unfortunately, it was the last question, everyone. Let's wrap up the explanation. Integrating multiple intelligence in the science classroom encourage inclusive engaging and personalized learning, while challenges such as limited time, research, and test-driven system exist. Strategic planning and gradual implementation can make this approach feasible. Emphasizing equity over uniformity allows students to express understanding through their strength without lowering academic rigor. Teachers must remain flexible and avoid labeling students, instead noting growth across all intelligent areas. Ultimately, applying this approach fosters deeper learning, greater motivation, and long-term scientific curiosity. Thank you to everyone who participated in the open forum. Now, we proceed to the certificate awarding ceremony. Thank you once again to both of our incredible speakers for the inspiring presentation. At this point in our program, we would like to express our gratitude and appreciation through the presentation of certificates of recognition to our speaker. We kindly invite our committee representative to assist in presenting the certificate virtually. Let's begin with first speaker. With great appreciation for present this certificate of recognition to Dr. Maria Jolit Angeline, P. Malaya-Alarte, PhD, CSEP, CHRA, LPT. For her insightful presentation, thank you, Dr. Alert. Congratulations. And everyone can give applause for Dr. Alert. Next, we present the certificate of recognition to Dr. Dhuta Sukmarani, Magister of Science, for her entrancing session. Thank you, Mom Dhuta. Congratulations. And everyone can give applause for Mom Dhuta. Okay, as we approach the end of this remarkable session, we would like to invite Mr. Agristo Bintang Aji Pradana, MPD, as the head of the Elementary Teacher Education Department, Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang, to deliver the closing remarks. Mr. Agristo, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, April. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and of course, warm greetings to everyone as we come to the end of this inspiring joint webinar between Unimma and University of Saint Anthony. I would like to express my appreciation, of course, to everyone who has contributed to the success of this webinar. And to our distinguished speakers, Dr. Maria and Dr. Dhuta, thank you for sharing your expertise, insights, and of course your patience. So amazing. It was so magnificent, of course, and your presentations really open our minds to the importance of inclusive education and the power of differentiated instruction in shaping what's that? Meaningful learning, meaningful activities for every student. And to all faculty members and students from both universities, thank you very much for your active participation during this webinar. And today's theme, Diverse Minds, One Mission, reminds us that teaching is not just about delivering material, delivering content, but it's also about reaching every learners. So we are hoping this webinar give us the tools, ideas, and of course, motivation to do that. And finally, I'd like to extend special thanks to the organizing team, both Unimma and USANT, moderators, Mam Nurul and Dr. Rafael. And the last, for your information, except elementary teacher education, this faculty has 3 other departments, ladies and gentlemen: guidance and counseling department, and then early childhood education department, and also master's program of primary education. Maybe one day, USANT and Unimma will create other partnership programs like this one in relation to these measures. Have a great day and see you in future collaboration. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agisto, for delivering the closing remarks. And well, next, the closing remarks will be delivered by Dr. Christian A. Lamut as the program head for secondary education, University of St. Anthony. Mr. Christian, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Greetings to everyone on board this morning. It has been truly inspiring to witness the convergence of minds from the University of St. Anthony and Universitas Muhammadiyah under the insightful theme, the Teachers for Inclusive Excellence, shared invaluable perspectives and forged connections that transcend the conclusion of our event today. Let me take a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the men and women who played important roles for the success of our event. This webinar would not have been possible without the unwavering from both the University of St. Anthony and the Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang. We extend our sincere appreciation for the commitment to international collaboration and the advancement of educational discourse. Our deepest gratitude also goes to our esteemed speakers who generously shared their expertise and insights, enriching our understanding of inclusive education. Let's give once again a round of applause to Dr. Dhuta Sukmarani from Unimma and Dr. Maria Jolit Angeline Malaya from University of St. Anthony. Thank you very much to our esteemed speakers. Likewise, we acknowledge the invaluable contributions of our faculty members from both institutions whose dedication to nurturing future educators is truly commendable. Finally, we recognize the enthusiastic participation of our students, both Unimma and USANT, whose engagement and thoughtful questions have added immense value to our discussions. The commitment demonstrated by our speakers, the panelists, the moderator, the participants contributed to fostering inclusive excellence in education. This webinar has not only highlighted the challenges and opportunities within our respective educational landscapes, but has also illuminated the shared mission that unites us, and that is to empower future generations through transformative and inclusive teaching practices. As we draw this webinar collaboration and the wealth of knowledge that we have gained, may the connections forged here today continue to strengthen the partnership between the University of St. Anthony and Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang, paving the way for future joint initiatives that further advance the cause of inclusive education. Once again, thank you, and we look forward to continued collaboration and shared success in our collective mission of equipping future teachers for inclusive excellence. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the closing remarks. Now, before we conclude, let's capture this wonderful moment together. Please turn on your camera and get ready for virtual photo session. And we have 3 scenes, and we will take the photo 3 times. For everyone, please turn on your camera. Okay. Are you ready? For the first scene, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. The second scene, be ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. And the third scene, be ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. On behalf of the organizing committee, we thank all the speaker, moderator, and participants from Universitas Muhammadiyah Magelang and University of St. Anthony. May we continue to advocate for inclusive excellence in education. This concludes our international webinar, and for everyone can fill out the evaluation form, and the link is already in the chat column. Stay safe, stay inspired, and see you at the next collaboration. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't forget the evaluation, please. Sir Risto, thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am Dhuta, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rafael. Thank you so much.
Ma'am Nurul, thank you. Evaluation
Thank
link is
you.
also posted. Ma'am Aprilia, please.
Okay.
Everyone.
Mr.
Thank
Rafael.
you, Dr. Rafael, Mr. Augusto, Dr. Maria, and Miss Dhuta.
Direkam, Bang.